county, but it's real sad when we've had, both in Palm Beach and our counties, a list of public officials, basically go to jail this year and get removed from office, and if the rumors are correct, there's going to be a lot more very shortly. We did the best job we could with a diverse group of people. We were under the sunshine, meaning we couldn't talk to each other. And in my case, we were all volunteers. I took vacation time throughout the year, and we met and did the best job we could with the resources we had. And let me tell you, it was not easy because there were a lot of forces out there that didn't want us to succeed and put anything together. And as this relates to this discussion, is on our ballot on Tuesday, there's a number of county charter proposals out there. I'm a Super R voter, so I voted like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And quite frankly, I'm a little stubborn with the process. I voted no on everything. What the county proposal is, they basically took the Inspector General proposal, and one thing that we did is our job was to write a draft ethics ordinance and present it to the county commission. Now, it is an ordinance, so any given Tuesday it can be diluted, changed, whatever. So what, as you all know, when we presented our ordinance to the county commission, there was a lot of heartburn and a lot of anguish, a lot of lashing out, and there wasn't a lot of happy folks with our ordinance. And my thought basically is we tried to change a lot of things through the process. We realized that our task was to create an ordinance just for the county commission. Last year, in fact, Robin and I worked real strongly on this. We asked our Broward County Legislative Delegation to do a local bill last year because we realized that this thing can only apply to the county commission. We thought it should apply to the school board. We thought it should apply to the constitutionals, the municipalities, everybody else, but because it's a county charter ordinance, we couldn't do it. And this is a work in progress. There's a lot of things that need to be worked on, but the proposals out before you are a lot of good sounding mamby-pamby pie in the sky proposals. What they basically do, in my opinion, is they water down the Inspector General's process. We wanted to have whistleblower protection. We wanted to create an environment where nobody should be scared to bring before an Inspector General any perceived wrongness. If you read the paper, I don't care if it's the New Times, the Sun Sentinel, the Miami Herald, or your local news source, and you think your local elected official's not doing something correctly, you should be able to go to a hotline, and that Inspector General ought to be emboldened with the knowledge and the resources to dismiss frivolous complaints and to investigate ones that he or she believes have merit. I don't think the charter proposal, the so-called Ritter Amendment, does that. I think it waters it down. I voted no. The other county ordinances, and I'm going to give this to Robin in a sec, all sound real good, but yes, this ought to apply to everybody, but throwing it at the municipalities, there's been no who's going to pay for it. There's been no fiscal analysis done on it. That's what we tried to do with a local bill. I still think a local bill process with the legislative delegation is the proper and open, transparent way to do that. Also making it apply to constitutionals sounds great, but what they neglect to tell you is the constitutional office of the sheriff, the property appraiser, supervisor of election are constitutional sovereigns. They are not subject to the county charter. And the only way that the county commission can bring them under is to make them charter officers. And I don't think the public in Broward County wants the sheriff's office to be part of Broward County Commission. But that'll be another battle later on. Again, that's just my 2 cents worth after participating in this for a year. Ron?
Let me ask you a quick question there. In terms of a local bill, is there anybody that's likely to be a sponsor for that?
Last year, this is what the two of us really worked on, is we went to Ellen Bog. We had Bill Shear, who was on our commission, since there was some conflicts with me, my role, and some other stuff, is they went to the Broward Legislative Delegation, and we got our report, Ellen Bogdanoff, Marty Keir, and most of the delegation supportive of this effort. Now, I got bogged down in politics, as usual, but, I watched that entire process last year, and those county commissioners that are fighting this thing did everything didn't lift a finger to help that effort. In fact, some of their spouses and some of their assistants and some of their other people did everything they could to kill the darn thing up in Tallahassee. But I still think the proper way to do that is with a local bill.
And after the elections, various things may be different, but I personally hope that effort continues. Okay, Robin.
Yeah, and just in summary for some of you who haven't been watching this issue, 3 years ago or 4 years ago, the Charter Review Commission took on this issue, and they were not successful. And the Ethics Commission was established by the electorate as a charter amendment to be in existence for 1 year, to write a code of ethics for the county commission, and to if the county commission chose not to vote for it, it would go in front of the voters. The county commission did vote for it, and as you know, the Ethics Commission passed our code through unanimous vote. And as a summary of what it covers is, number one, county commissioners are no longer allowed to sit on selection committees. Number two, all interaction with lobbyists on issues and on behalf of clients must be disclosed by the county commissioners and the lobbyists, including going to lunch. It's no longer just when you show up on the top floor of the county commission building. It's all interaction that is related to county policy, county purchasing. And we established that county commissioners could no longer, or their spouses or their domestic partners, could no longer lobby in Broward County any governmental or semi-judicial, quasi-judicial agency. I.e., this is from the land making decisions in front of the zoning board all the way up through the county commission. So no more lobbying down. We also did a pretty stringent gift ban. You can still take bagels and schmears and an occasional t-shirt, but you have to report. We extended that gift ban to immediate family. And in addition, we also said that if a county commissioner, the ethics code says if a county commissioner chooses to raise money for another candidate or for a nonprofit, that is legal, but they have to disclose with whom they are raising that money and how successful they were. So it was transparency more than anything that we were going after, because in essence, unless you do a lot of business with the county and hire a few lobbyists, the workings of the county commission can be somewhat untransparent, despite the sunshine rules. As our host said, this created a sea change. When this ethics commission was put into being by the voters, most of the county commissioners did not believe, in fact, that we would be able to come up with a majority vote for any changes. And we came up with a unanimous vote. And I would say that because this is part of a process that literally started in the late 90s. I mean, we've had several charter review votes where we as voters have said, county commission, you must develop and adopt a code of ethics. This was the end result. After 2 different votes, 2 different elections instructing in the county charter for a code of ethics, it took 15 intrepid citizens to do it, and the county commission's not happy. One of the key things that we put into place was an inspector general, and the inspector general was put into place with the idea, after looking at how it worked, how inspector generals work in various other effective governmental entities, that they needed to have broad range, that they needed to be, whoever the inspector general was, needed to be someone who was not part of the Broward County system, and thirdly, that they would be able to initiate their own investigations, i.e. that they could take tips from the street, tips from the newspapers, tips from whatever, and pursue those and use their discretion and their judgment as to whether there was a serious infraction going on. That is what the key amendment that you guys will be voting on deals with. It would establish penalties for anyone who filed a frivolous complaint. It would also say that you could not file anonymous complaints, and it would it would tie the hands of our inspector general. at least in my opinion, I'm like Bob, I'm voting against that. Because the whole idea of an inspector general, and if you've, any of you worked for the federal government will know this, an inspector general has very free reign. And they may initiate 20 investigations and only pursue one. And it is up to the discretion of those inspectors and investigators as to how to do it. Here in Florida, we have a state ethics commission that basically you sign your name, and for huge infractions of our state ethics code, people are being fined $500. So this is the first time in Florida where we have had an effective code of ethics that not only has an inspector general, but also created a fine system that says that there will be criminal and civil penalties. So as you can imagine, it does create a change. I will tell you, most voters think that our constitutional officers are part of the county government. Sorry, Bob. I would love to see this expanded to the constitutionals. I think it should be expanded to the school board, and I think every major city, every city should have a very strong code of ethics. Will the amendments as put before you be able to accomplish that? Most likely not. I mean, that's a battle for another day. I think the most important thing, though, as civic leaders in Fort Lauderdale and in Broward County, is to be aware that there will be a constant effort every Tuesday to water this down. And the very first effort will be, we don't have the money to put together an effective inspector general. As background, the Ethics Commission had no budget. We did not have staff. We had to borrow a assistant county attorney. We could not have any experts come in. Strangle the baby was what the county commission was doing. And they thought it would be pretty effective, but literally the Charter Review Commission had done so much work on this, it was already an established body of research. They will go in and do this, or I fear that the same activities will happen against the Inspector General. Number two, you will probably see some watering down of the attempts to water down, keeping immediate family from lobbying down and county commissioners from lobbying down, and that will happen in the courts. And you will see one of our county commissioners bring suit to say that it is unconstitutional. They actually had the former county attorney say that in an opinion. Not unconstitutional has happened all over the country. This is not an unusual thing. Running for county commission is your choice. And serving on the county commission is an honor. And it does not mean that you have full protections on everything that you do in your business life. If you choose to run for county commission, you must not lobby. That is what we said. You can go lobby Tallahassee all you like, but you're not going to go in front of the city of Plantation and ask them for a land use change, or for a garbage contract, or for a variety of other things, which was happening on a weekly basis. So, that will be the next. You will see court challenges, unless the people who would make the court challenges are in court on other reasons. So it is a big thing. I encourage you to look at the Inspector General language very, very carefully, because that to the civil penalties for a supposed frivolous complaint are very steep. And it will put a dampening blanket on any county employee, anybody who does business with the county, anyone who relies on the county, or just the common citizen, from making those necessary complaints and inquiries as to how the county is doing its business. And finally, in closing, we would have loved to have seen this extended to the senior staff of the county, because you can take county commissioners out of the purchasing process, but basically, county employees need to be living under a very strict code of ethics also. That is not on the ballot, is my understanding.
Correct.
So, there you have it.
Well, thank you very much for the presentation, and